This is Doug DeMuro, and today we're going to do a garage update. I'm going to give you a little update about my cars, what's going on with them, where they all are, what the situation is. I haven't done one of these in a long time. I was surprised. It's been a while since I've done a garage update, and so let's discuss what's going on with my fleet. Before we get started, are you ready for your next cool car? Sell your enthusiast car on Cars and Bids. Trading in your car to dealers means you aren't getting market value for your car, leaving you with less cash for your next fun car. Just look at our recent sales of these cool cars compared to current trade-in value. This is a trade-in offer, and this was the Cars and Bids result. This is a trade-in offer, and this was the Cars and Bids result. This is the trade-in offer, and this is the Cars and Bids result. Get started now on carsandbids.com. Sell on Cars and Bids and join the best community to sell your enthusiast car. Okay, garage update. I'm going to start with the cars that have gotten the most interesting updates recently, and I'm going to finish with the cars that not much is going on with in my garage. And then at the end of this video, I'll answer the question I get asked more than almost any other question, which is, what's next? What car are you thinking of getting next? What are you going to buy next? People ask me all the time that question, and I'll tell you at the end. You have to wait or just scroll ahead. I'm fine with that too. Okay, so let's start with the Sequoia, my Toyota Sequoia TRD Pro, which I bought about a year and a half ago. It's about to hit 18,000, it's like 17,500 miles, and I've just driven it cross country for the fourth time. Bought that car in California, drove it to the East Coast, back last year, just did the same thing this summer. So I've driven it cross country 4 times, and honestly, it's been flawless. I bought that car. I have hated it ever since I bought it. I think it is way over the top in terms of styling and sizing and the stupid camo fender flares and all this stuff. The exhaust is too loud. It's not for me. Like, I needed what it was, which was a big car that could off-road, but the rest of it is just too aggressive for me as a person. However, I've come to really love that car. In the summer, my family and I go to the East Coast with that car, and we do a lot of off-roading in the East Coast, and the Sequoia is unbelievably capable off-road. I'm astonished. You put it into 4-wheel drive and you turn on the little terrain control. You know, I bought that car because I felt like I needed the crawl control and all these off-road features that I have barely used, because even just the regular off-roading settings are unbelievably capable in that Sequoia. And I'm astonished by how confident I feel driving that car off-road, and just how generally confident I feel in it. I love a Toyota truck. I am a Toyota truck guy. I've owned 2 Land Cruisers. Love this Sequoia and the way it makes you feel. Like a good Toyota truck, you just feel like you can do anything. Like if there was an apocalypse and everybody with their other cars had to, you'd be like going through stuff. And I'm really impressed with it to this day. It has won me over. The way it looks has won me over, not the camo fender flares, but the general look of it, the way it drives, the way it feels. It is just such a brute. With that said, it is too big for my lifestyle here in California. My wife basically refuses to drive it, which I don't blame her for, because I refuse to drive it most of the time. It is just a big car to own if you live in the city, as I do. Parallel parking all the time, getting into tight parking spaces, tight grocery store lots. It is not the car for that. It is a car for living in the suburbs or in the country or a mountain cabin. And I don't regret buying it, because I needed a car that could seat a lot of people and go off-road, and that's exactly what it does. And when I think about replacing it, I don't have a lot of great alternatives, because I still need to seat a lot of people and go off-road, and there's nothing else really that's smaller that can do that, except I still constantly daydream about the Lexus LX 700H Overtrail, which is the 300 series Land Cruiser in Lexus form, sold in the States. It's the same powertrain from my Sequoia, but it's sort of like an off-road Lexus version. And it solves the 3 issues of my Sequoia that I don't like. One is size. The Lexus LX is smaller, especially narrower, which makes it feel smaller. Another is ride quality. The Sequoia is a harsh riding vehicle based on the Tundra. In the Lexus LX, they've done a surprisingly good job of kind of eliminating the trucky feel to it. The Lexus LX, the new one, is probably the least trucky body-on-frame vehicle I've ever driven. And the other is design and style. I don't think the 300 series Land Cruiser looks especially good, but it
it's a 300. It's a Land Cruiser. It's got that look to it. The Sequoia is clearly intended to be this macho thing, and the Lexus LX just looks more purposeful. I daydream about that all the time. However, used ones are still $105,000, $110,000, and I can't see carrying around my children in a car that expensive. And it's ridiculous to say because the Sequoia is $85,000, but I think that's even too expensive. Like, that's absurd. Like, I didn't grow up that way. I didn't have cars this expensive until the Sequoia for daily drivers. I'm not going to spend $100,000 on a family. It's just not going to occur. So that's the end. I daydream about it, but it will not be happening. Other than that, Sequoia is good. Next car is my G500 Cabriolet, my Mercedes-Benz G500 Cabriolet. I ship this car to the East Coast for the summer, and I use this off-road every single day. I take it on the beach and on muddy, dirty trails every single day, multiple times a day. And the car is absolutely filthy right now. It is actually on a truck headed back to the West Coast. It's going straight. It's being dropped off in the truck at my detailer, Elite Finish, here in San Diego, so they can clean it out, which I imagine will take them about a day or two. But it's so cool. That car is so good. The start of the summer, I had a flat tire. The tire debeaded when I was off-roading, which I've never experienced before. I've never even heard of it. I think you gotta be going kind of fast off-road with low pressure to make it happen, and I was. But that car, it's a power top. I push the button, the top goes down. And my kids ride in it. They love it. They love the open air experience. Four-wheel drive, locking diff. In some pretty hairy off-road situations, that car does pretty well. I wish it did a little better. I wish it had the same confidence that the Sequoia has, but I think it's a little bit under-tired. I put some nice KO2s on it, but I don't think I got enough sidewall in them. I think it could use a little bit more of a off-road tire. But generally speaking, it is a very capable, excellent vehicle, and I really enjoy using it and driving it. I am surprised by how much I enjoy it. I will say the drawback to that car is also kind of the way it looks and the image it gives out. I have this rule that basically anybody who comes up to me and tells me they like that car, I instantly am skeptical of, even though I own it. Because like the kind of person who comes up and says, oh, a convertible G-Wagon, they're usually some sort of rich person who just wants the newest, coolest thing and something that no one else has. And I bought it because I'm a real enthusiast of weird stuff, and that's like king weird. But I don't necessarily love just the luxury image. Like I need a luxury off-roader that it provides. Of course, the irony is it's not really a luxury off-roader. It has leather seats, but that's about it. It's a 25-year-old car. But the G500 Cabriolet essentially replaced my yellow Land Rover Defender. I owned them both at the same time for about 5 years, but eventually I sold the Land Rover. The G essentially replaced it, and I have no regrets. The yellow Defender was a part of my family. It was my wedding getaway car. It took me on my honeymoon. My first child, rode on it on the beach. It wasn't working for my family anymore. It couldn't count on it. Not safe enough. The G replaced it, and it has done great. And I have no regrets about getting rid of the yellow Defender. The G is killing it. Next car on the garage update, my 2005 Ford GT. This is the car that I probably get asked about the most in terms of whether I'm going to sell it. My friends are always asking me, random people are always asking me. There is a large contingent of my audience who is convinced that I'm going to sell it. I owned the Ford GT before I got really rich. I sold my company, right? So it's like I sold a business, got a lot more money. You'd think that you'd level up. And I've owned the Ford GT for 7 years now. And it's just not how I feel. I love it. And I still love it to this day. It's just great. And I've watched the values increase because so many more people are getting into this car and understanding what makes it so special, and I still love it. I look at the mileage figures that I've done with this car, and to this day, I am still driving it consistently at the same level I always have been, which is about 140, 150 miles a month. I have always done that since the day I bought this car 7 years ago, and the result is that I am now at 12,729 miles since I bought it. So 7 years, I've done about 13,000 miles in that car. It's pretty impressive. Not that many people have driven a Ford GT 13,000 miles total. And my car, I've driven just in the last 7 years that much. My car now has over 44,000 miles on the odometer. I have no interest in selling it. I do not ever think about selling it. It is never on my mind. I love my new sports cars, the Carrera GT and the Countach, but they are not replacements. I think they are great equals. And they all do their own thing. The Carrera GT is the precision instrument. When you're going to drive, you're really fast, fun, you want to do that. The Countach is the crazy old school thing. If you just want to have a blast and have a crazy experience to do that. And the Ford GT is the one that I take everywhere else. If I'm going to the post office, the bank, Home Depot, the Ford GT is my car. I drive it pretty much every time I can drive it where I don't need to take a kid or a large item. I trust parking it anywhere. I just use it all the time, and I love using it. And I love being able to have a car that is that special that I can use reliably to that degree, and that's what that is. And I don't think there's any other sports car quite like that checks the boxes of special, reliable, and usable. I don't think there's anything else like that. An NSX is sort of similar, but it's nowhere near as special. And the Ford GT is just the coolest thing in the world to be able to put 13,000 miles on it. And I remain thrilled with that car, and I plan to keep it. And the update on it, by the way, is that it's just back from a service where I did the usual kind of annual, I do it every 2 years, an oil change, air filter, coolant flush, brake fluid, clutch fluid, and this time I had to get new tires. The tires were very close to the wear bars. And so it's back from all that stuff, about $3,500 for all that, including the tires. Every 2 years, $3,500 includes tires. I mean, the car is so cheap to own, right? Like, the last time I got tires was 7 years ago. So if you factor that out of the every 2 year service, it's $1,500 every 2 years. That's not that different from a normal car. And I'm driving around a Ford GT. It's really special, and I love it, and I continue to love it. Next up, the Countach and the Carrera GT. There's not much to tell with these two cars. I did this big mileage update over the summer, and I kind of talked about how much I'm using those cars. Still remains true. Nothing interesting has happened with these two cars. Took the Countach to Monterey Car Week, where I drove it around about 200 miles. I entered it in the Quail Car Show, which is like the most prestigious event during Monterey Car Week, in my opinion. And I had a great time showing it at the Quail. I thought that was really fun. That is one of the coolest events. And it was really neat to park that car on the lawn there next to some really special cars, a Koenigsegg concept car and a Victor W8, Bugattis and other Countaches and another Carrera GT, and the Lamborghini Sesto Elemento, like some of the really coolest modern supercars. And Countach was there too. That was really cool. And I drove it around Monterey, 200 miles in 4 days around Monterey, which is a lot of driving for a car like that. And it was the only car I brought to Monterey. And so, yeah, it's a lot to do with that car, right? Like to take it, in addition to doing like a nice drive down Highway 1 and Big Sur, like I also had to bring it to the grocery store if we wanted snacks, like it was the car. And it did great. And I had fun with it, and I loved it. And of course, I still love the Carrera GT. I've had that car now. It's coming up on 3 years. Hard to believe. And I've well over 15,000 miles in it, bought it with 10, and I really love it. My last car is my Mercedes-Benz E450 station wagon, which is now completely a family car my wife uses with the kids, and no updates there. It's great. It's fine. Good family car. So on to the question that people are always asking me, which is what's next? People are always saying, Doug, I get this truly all the time. What's next? Hey man, you're always doing cool stuff. What are you getting next? And the answer is nothing. And I've been saying this now for probably a year between the podcast and my videos. Nothing. I have zero interest in replacing any of these cars with new ones. I have zero interest in adding anything new. I don't even really consider stuff, to be honest. Occasionally I do kick around the idea of getting a new 4Runner instead of my Sequoia just because it's smaller, or the LX700H if one comes down in price, I'm ready to swoop in. And that could happen in the next couple of years, but the fun cars at least are all staying. I just have no plans on doing any. I just love my fleet. I love my fleet. And it doesn't really work out for a YouTuber who's supposed to be making content about, the stuff in your life, the car stuff. I don't have much new car stuff because I'm not buying much new cars. Hoovy has a new car in every video he's selling, he's buying. For me, I haven't bought a car in almost 2 years. It's going to come up on 2 years here. Since the Sequoia, which was early part of 24. Which is rare for a car enthusiast and a YouTuber, but I just really love what I have. And I do occasionally think to myself, oh, maybe I want to get a 575 Super America Ferrari, or a 993 Porsche 911 Turbo, or a Toyota Supra Mark IV. It's on my mind, but I never really even get close. Like I don't bid on any, I don't call on any, I don't look on the forums to see what I should look for. I never really go down those paths. Those would be the cars I would think of. And I will say, it is always a possibility that someone will one day call me and offer me an F40, which is kind of my pinnacle dream car, in which case I would make some moves. I would probably sell the Countach. I might think about selling the Ford GT also. An F40 is still a car that's always kind of looming, that is always a possibility for me if the right one shows up, which is a car that was damaged in the past and has a history. In that situation, I would probably consider an F40. That's probably the one car that I would do it with. But I've been sitting here with my phone open for 3 years. And a lot of the guys who broker F40s know I'm interested, and I don't get any calls. And I think that that's because they know that the F40 is kind of surpassed surpassed my budget level. I'm interested at like 1.5 million, which is an enormous amount. At 2 million is where a lot of them are transacting now, and I'm not interested. Not for me. And so that's that. I'm not really, with that in mind, I'm not really planning to do anything new or change these cars out, which is not something you often hear from people like in my financial bracket. I often, people in this world often are unsatisfied. They want the next thing. And there's some fun to that. Like, I want to try this. I want to try that. I want to have this. But I'm just satisfied. I'm happy. I love these cars. I don't really see what any other car that I could get in this world would add to my life. I have a 4-car garage and I have 4 fun cars, the G, the Carrera GT, the Ford GT, and the Countach. That's just what I want. I got it. And I'm satisfied. And also, this isn't really a life stage for me to be moving cars around. I have a suspicion all these cars will eventually go and be replaced by other stuff. But like, I got 2 young kids, both of them are under 4. Getting cars and going through that process is not my focus right now. It's definitely on family life and community, and I love what I have, and I'm happy with them for now. So that's my garage update. That's what's next, which is nothing. And thanks for watching.